screwed the Fever today. I'm not saying that they lost the Fever the game or anything, because they didn't. They didn't. The Fever lost the game fair and square. They did. The Fever absolutely lost this game fair and square. And yeah, it's this was one of those ones where the refs just clearly had everyone team. So first of all, this is a clean block. This is a completely clean block. A lot of people are like, oh, but she got her on the pickup, but then it shouldn't have been a shooting foul. That's not a foul. That's not a foul. They called the foul on the block shot. Even if you want to say, oh, there's a foul before that, that's not what the refs called. The refs called it a clean block foul. You had Caitlin being guarded like this for 40 minutes and 0, by the way. 0 for 40 minutes. She got this call 0 times. There's tons of times. Watch this whole game. 40 minutes. Caitlin runs through and there's a hand on her. Kayla McBride, in the first half, there was one where she passed it to KK. Caitlin burned KK, or say Caitlin burned Kayla, and Kayla sees Caitlin trying to make the pass and just shoves her. There's one left hand to Caitlin's left hand, nowhere near the ball, just shoves Caitlin in the back. Because they have a foul to give. Vet move. They have a foul to give. Caitlin just burned her. It's a 2-on-1 situation. And I don't know how Caitlin didn't turn the ball over, but she just got shoved. She literally shoved her. And then, this is one of the worst calls I've ever seen. This is one of the worst calls I've ever seen in my life. Sophie Cunningham, hitting Nia Coffey's flying elbow with her face. A defensive foul for getting elbow in the face. It is probably the worst call I've ever seen in my life. A defensive foul for getting elbow in the face. Is it a flagrant? Maybe. Nia Coffey's looking at staring Sophie Cunningham down. It is obviously an offensive foul. If the referee wants to call it flagrant, I think we can be maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't think it is. I think maybe it would be a bit harsh to call it flagrant. But I've seen less be called flagrant. I've seen Aaliyah Boston stand there with a ball in her hand and Kalia Copper run into Aaliyah. Aaliyah not move her elbow. Kalia Copper run into Aaliyah and then flop, and it be given as a technical foul on Aaliyah or a flagrant on Aaliyah. As well as that, I will stand by this. This is a blatant offensive foul. It's not you can see, this here. This is an offensive foul. No matter what way you put it, this is an offensive foul. You can't just kick out your leg on somebody. You can't do that. I can see what Olivia Miles is trying to do. She's trying to force contact. She's trying to foul bait. But, I'm sorry. If you do that to somebody, it's a yellow card in football. It is considered a dive. And how the refs gave this a no call is beyond me. There is way too much contact here for no call. Both players, by the way, both players' knees could have been blown out here. It's a red card in soccer. If somebody's in the air and you get kicked like that in soccer, it's a red card. This is a red card in soccer. And by the way, in basketball, you see what Olivia Miles is trying to do. We're not going to go, we're not going to pretend that Olivia Miles intentionally did this. And if nothing, so basically what happened here is, Caitlin Clark is jumping out of the way. Caitlin Clark is I don't want contact. I'm getting out of the way. I'm not picking up a foul. Olivia Miles is I'm going to create contact. And then Caitlin's going away. So Olivia Miles kicks out her leg because it's the only way to make contact with Caitlin. It is an offensive player trying to get an at one, and it's a defensive player saying, I'm not going to foul. And what ends up happening is this. Every bit of this contact is initiated by Olivia Miles. This is an offensive foul, no basket. It is an obvious offensive foul. How you missed it is beyond me. It is an offensive foul that should have went to the monitor. It is an offensive foul that should have went to the monitor to see if it was upgraded to flagrant. Do I think it's flagrant? Probably not. But you have to, that is what it should have been. If somebody does that to you, and again, it is, someone said high IQ flop by Olivia. Yeah, she's not expecting Caitlin Clark to jump away. She's trying to hit Caitlin Clark. She's trying to get a body-to-body contact. The problem is that she'd fully committed to the foul bait. And Caitlin fully committed to getting the fuck out of the way. And that's the problem. That's where it all came from. It was that's where it all came from. That's where it all came from. It was not like it was a dirty play. It was a play. It happens. It happens. But let's be real. If somebody does that to you, if you get hit, if you're going and trying to dodge someone defense and you get kicked like that, just playing yourself, you're going to fight somebody. You're going to fight someone. Caitlin Clark went down because she stayed down for an offensive possession. She's like, maybe the ref will look at this. They didn't. It is clearly, it is the most blatant offensive foul. It's no different than, I'm sorry, jumping and sticking your leg out and kicking somebody is no different than jumping, sticking your arm out and hitting someone with your arm on a layup. It's the same thing. It's a limb out of your cylinder to make contact with the defensive player. It is an offensive foul. By every rule, everywhere, every single rule book, throwing a limb out of your cylinder to make contact with a defensive player is an offensive foul. But it just felt like it was a weird call after weird call after weird call. Aaliyah got called for a foul, called for a phantom foul. We had to blow a challenge on that. And then this was just overall in the game, what's Caitlin meant to do when this is allowed? Genuinely, what is she meant to do? There's nothing she can do. She can't use her, she's been a downhill driver the last few games. You can't drive downhill if you're allowed hand check. You just can't. It is what it is. You can't drive downhill if you're allowed hand check. And it's not the Lynx were a better team anyway, regardless of refs. I think the Minnesota Lynx basically, they are a team where even if there's no refs and this was playing pickup rules, the Lynx win this game. They're a tough team, but you just know as well in this scenario, this is why Caitlin Armbar is off. It is a battle, and we saw at the start of the year when the refs were calling freedom of movement. Caitlin was getting called for 3 offensive fouls for push-offs in the first game. And you're when she does that, when she does push off, when there's no hand check, yeah, if you're not on a hand check, call the offensive fouls. Caitlin, the problem is now is Caitlin can't dribble the ball without it being two players pushing into each other, and it's just really bad. It's just bad refereeing, and it's bad control of the game. It's bad control of the game. Someone in the comments says I'm grifting, talking about calls, and no, you talk about how the game goes. It was a really, really bad performance by the refs. Again, I'm not saying the Fever deserves to win this game. If the Fever won this game, they would have stole the game. Refs or no refs, they had their chance. They choked. They choked down the stretch, but they could have stole the game. And I'm happy with how the Fever looked long term, because the Minnesota Lynx cannot keep up 4 quarters to Fever space. They can't. No team can. That is the scariest thing. No team can keep up with the Fever space for 4 quarters. So that's one of the big things, that big advantages that the Fever have over anybody else, is that there are not teams are not out here keeping up with Indiana for 4 quarters. They're just not. And that is a big advantage that the Fever have. But still, everyone's being oh, Caitlin Clark can't do this without free throws. Yeah, no shit. No shit when she's not getting free throws, when she's driving to the basket and getting hacked. Yuha's got her with a clean block, but her other hand shoved her. It's Caitlin, until a minute and a half to go, Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell combined for 0 free throws. Sorry, it was 1, but it was a tech. But based on fouls, 0 combined for 3 players, 2 players especially, who live at the free throw line, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, going downhill. It was a weirdly refereed game. It was a really, really refereed game. And yeah, it didn't benefit Fever. Basically, any of these games where they let this type of stuff happen, where they go back to old rules, where they don't allow freedom of movement, any of those refereed games, that doesn't they don't benefit the free-flowing offensive team, which is what the Fever is. It's as simple as that. If you referee the game it's 1980s NBA, it doesn't benefit the free-flowing offensive team. It simply doesn't. But yeah, and still dropping 100 is impressive in that scenario.